each morning. And the world is already waiting with its demands, its pressures, its disappointments, its rejections. Life doesn't hold back. It doesn't pause to ask if you're ready. It simply arrives. And if your mind isn't strong, if it isn't toughened, those pressures will bend you, break you, and eventually crush you. I've seen it happen. Skill and opportunity, but no mental toughness. The first storm of life came, and they crumbled. The first sign of rejection, and they folded. The first big failure, and they never recovered. It wasn't that life was harder on them than on anyone else. It's just that their minds weren't ready. See, the world doesn't go easy on anyone. It has challenges for the rich and the poor, the educated and the uneducated, the young and the old. No one escapes it. Life tests everyone. And the only difference between those who endure and those who collapse is the condition of the mind. That's why I say, toughen your mind or the world will break it. Now, toughening the mind doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain, the loss, or the disappointments. It means developing a kind of resilience, a toughness that allows you to bend without breaking, to feel the weight of life without collapsing under it. It's a strength that comes from discipline, perspective, and preparation. Years ago, Mr. Schoaf told me something that has stayed with me to this very day. He said, "Jim, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were stronger." That's the essence of mental toughness, and I try to live by that. Because see, the world isn't going to suddenly ease up because you ask nicely. Problems won't disappear because you hope they would, but you can change. You can grow. You can become someone capable of handling more, enduring more, accomplishing more. That's the whole idea of toughening your mind. Think about it. When you prepare yourself mentally, you're no longer a victim of circumstances. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect, or for people to treat you fairly, or for luck to finally land in your lap. Instead, you step into life with strength. You face what comes without falling apart. And that is what separates those who build extraordinary lives from those who live in quiet frustration. So the question isn't whether life will be tough. It will. The question is whether you will be tough enough to face it. And if you're not, then you've got some work to do. Because every day you delay in strengthening your mind, the world gets another chance to break it. And believe me, the world doesn't run out of chances. That's why we're here. To talk about the practices, the disciplines, the choices that will toughen your mind so that no matter what comes, rejection, setbacks, hardship, you'll be able to endure it, overcome it, and even grow because of it. Because strength intentionally, the pressures of life will expose the weakness, and sooner or later, they'll break you. Now, I want to talk about the reality of pressure, because that's where mental toughness is first tested. Pressure comes to all of us, not just once in a while, but every single day in some form. The moment you step out into the world, it begins testing what you're made of. Sometimes the pressure is small, an irritating delay, an unexpected bill, a careless remark from someone close to you. Other times it's heavy, a career setback, a betrayal, or a sudden crisis you didn't see coming. And what pressure does is very revealing. It shows the truth. It shows whether your mind is trained or fragile. I've met people who crumble under the slightest inconvenience. A line that's too long, a project that takes longer than expected, a small disappointment, and it ruins their whole day. Why? Because their minds haven't been conditioned to handle resistance. They react instead of respond. They fold instead of flex. And when you live that way, the world has you right where it wants you, at its mercy. On the other hand, I've seen people walk through storms without breaking stride. Not because their lives were easy. Often it was the opposite. But they had built a toughness of mind that allowed them to meet pressure with composure. They didn't deny it. They didn't pretend it wasn't there. But they also didn't let it own them. They understood that the world doesn't give you an option of whether you'll face pressure. The only choice you get is whether you'll be ready for it. The truth is, life will never get easier. You may get wealthier, you may get wiser, you may gain more skills, but the challenges will rise to meet you at every level. Pressure doesn't stop. The only way forward is to get stronger, to build a mind that doesn't just survive difficulty, but uses it. That's the difference between those who grow and those who break. One turns pressure into fuel, the other gets crushed by it. And here's what makes it interesting. The world doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't pause for you to catch up. It doesn't hold back its weight until you're more comfortable. It simply applies pressure, like gravity, every single day. The question is, are you prepared? If not, the weight bends you, breaks you, even shatters you. But if you've conditioned your mind, that same weight makes you stronger. It becomes your resistance training. That's why mental toughness is not optional. It's not a luxury, it's survival. Because it's how you live. Discipline is where toughness begins. It doesn't start with the big events of life, the dramatic trials or the sudden storms. Toughness is born in the ordinary. It's built in the morning when the alarm rings and you get up instead of rolling over. It's shaped when you keep your word even when it's inconvenient. It's strengthened when you choose not to cut corners, even though no one's watching. Every small discipline is like laying a brick, and soon enough, you've built a wall strong enough to stand against whatever comes. Some people wait until trouble hits before they think about getting strong, but by then, it's too late. When the storm arrives, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your preparation. If you've been disciplined, your mind already knows how to endure. If you've been careless, the storm exposes you. That's why you can't treat discipline as something optional, something nice to have. It's the foundation. You don't see it when times, but it shows up loud and clear when life tests you. Here's the key. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And that bridge has to be built long before you need to cross it. If you wait until the day you're under pressure, you'll find yourself standing at the river's edge with excuses. But if you've been building discipline daily, when the day comes, you can walk across with confidence. That's the difference discipline makes. Think about the little things. Skipping the gym doesn't break you today. Ignoring that book you promised yourself you'd read doesn't ruin you tomorrow. But over time, the habit becomes your character. And when real pressure comes, you'll find yourself fragile. On the other hand, if you honor your commitments, no matter how small, you're educating your mind to stay steady. You're building toughness one decision at a time. And soon enough, when the world tries to push you around, it discovers you're not so easy to move.
Hi, everyone.
Discipline teaches restraint. A tough mind isn't just about pushing harder, about knowing when not to give in. Think of all the temptations life throws at us.